So I apologize if this video seems kind of all over the place and kind of weird, but this is kind of one that I've been embarrassingly working on for a very long time. Not that it shows really, but I just kind of needed to, in a sense, paint this statue to see how ugly it could be, and I hope that makes sense. So, thank you guys for watching. When I was coming up with ideas for this video, I initially settled on just why I kind of like Amphibia and hey, you should watch this. But instead I really decided to go with a different take and go with a genuine question. Should you watch Amphibia? Is Amphibia right for you? And to answer those questions without any spoilers, because I care about you guys, I wanted to pose that as a question instead of just imposing my own thoughts of how good or bad I think a show is. Recently on the internet, and not recently, I suppose over a good amount of time, I have seen basically two kinds of videos, where it's people like a show, or people hate it. People dog on it, and that's kind of it. And whether or not it's like a video that is, oh, I think the show is good for these list of reasons, or it's just somebody talking about their personal experience with it. All a positive experience really boils down to, because it's the internet and people feed off of negativity, the positive things all just kind of boil down to, I like it. Which is why negative things about a show will always come through on the internet way more than positive things. But rather than just shit on something because I think it's different or it's not my cup of tea, I want to talk about something that I personally love, but instead of just telling you why I like it, I want to see if this is something that you would enjoy. I genuinely want to pose some questions to see if Amphibia is the right show for you. Now, when looking at Amphibia, I can give you some reasons why I was a little skeptical about the show, and we can see if we're on the same page. When I first saw Amphibia introduced, I don't remember when it was, but at some point I saw a trailer for it or something on YouTube, I think. And initially I was just kind of like, it kind of just looks like a cartoon show with an overarching story, but it has frogs. And you're right, but the way that they handle it is much different. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil you on the story. I'm not going to give too much away. But I can honestly tell you the things that you might be fearing about the show, frog puns, current, kid slang. I feel old saying that, but yeah. Those things don't happen much in the show. They happen, but they're natural. They're not shoehorned in to fit like a new generation of cartoon watchers. The people that work on this show are very good at storytelling. I can say that it's very good, but I guess that's up for you to decide. But if you're worried about kind of growing numb to either puns or predictability about the show, I can tell you now that you don't have to worry about those things. Secondly, the art style kind of threw me off. I wasn't sure what to expect, really. But I can say, to honest to goodness, the art and the visuals and the animation are probably some of the best that I've seen in this current line of animation. This current line of for TV animation and for TV cartoons, the best I've seen, very, 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 by far. So, if you're wondering what Amphibia is about and wondering if you should give the show a chance, because I have to be fair and realize that a good reason why people don't watch shows isn't because they don't think that it's good or they think that it's bad. Sometimes you might not want to watch a show because it's currently going on. Amphibia, at the time of this recording, is on season 2, part B, I believe. And we're on a hiatus right now for episodes. And some people rather not watch it as the show goes on because they get impatient, they forget what happens, they don't feel like rewatching episodes, and how you digest your information or how you digest your storytelling is completely up to you. I'll never look down on somebody before viewing things how I do. I'm watching Amphibia for the second time through right now, and I love it, but I realize not everybody has the time to. I also realize that when watching a show, you do have other things to watch. You do have other shows that you might want to invest your time in. And investing in investing in two animated shows at the same time is a lot for some people. Not me, but some people. And if you had a choice between Amphibia or Owl House, you might choose to watch Owl House. Maybe witches are more your thing. Maybe magic and fantasy world setting is more of your niche right now. And that's fine. Other reasons why you might not watch Amphibia might be because it's not your thing. These cartoons with story narratives are action-packed, I'd say. They have a good amount of story and emotion and, ways of getting messages across that don't feel really ham-fisted. But some people have just moved on. I'm not going to lie and tell you that these fight scenes in these shows are as great as anime fights. They're not as great as, some of the things that you might have moved on to. And that's okay. Like I said, these shows aren't for everybody, and I'm here to, actually pose a question to see if this is something that you would like. Now, on the side of, would you like Amphibia? If you like Adventure Time, if you like Steven Universe, if you like any of those shows that are for kids but have a overarching darker side to them, this show is right up your alley. You don't have to worry about waiting seasons or waiting, episodes and episodes for a plot to get introduced to you. The plot is there from the beginning. The plot of Anne arriving in this mystery kind of strange world happens at the very beginning, and it is immediately within the first couple of episodes addressed that this is the overarching issue of the story, that she is trapped in this land. It isn't that she's in this strange land and she's just getting into trouble and adventures and things. It is a problem, and she does want to get home. That is the overarching story of Amphibia, and it's felt the whole way through. When I first started watching the show, I kind of wondered how I was going to explain how good this show is, or why I liked it without giving it away. And all I can really say, without spoiling it, and I'll do a review later on, but all I can say without spoiling it, or giving away too much of the story and letting you experiencing it yourself, is realize that Disney knows what they're doing. Disney understands storytelling a lot better than you might think it does past the Disney movies. It's felt in the cartoons as well. It's felt in these shows as well. Also, this kind of goes back to whether or not you want to wait to watch a show when it's over, or if you want to watch it on a weekly basis. Me personally, I completely understand wanting to watch a show that is all done, and you can binge it, and you can have your whole experience right there. That's a fun thing to do. But, as I'm kind of doing this channel, I also don't mind waiting for episodes because I love discussion videos, and that's why I'm here today. I love having discussions. I love having episodes grow. I love looking back and seeing the absurd ideas that people have before they get any information on future episodes. I love the speculation part of it because to me that's really fun. I love talking about it with people, and Amphibia is no different. Amphibia is definitely a show where people are putting out theories and their ideas on the show and the things that we have so far, not knowing where the show is going to go, not knowing what mysteries lie ahead, and that's a really That's a really fun thing. So in the question of, is Amphibia right for you? I would question and ask these several things. I would ask, is Amphibia right for me now? Or should I wait? Do I like story-driven narratives, but in a for TV cartoon style? And to mention on that, when you take a show like Amphibia or like Steven Universe or any of those that you can think of, but for TV, I have a huge respect for the people that make these shows, because as much as I'm sure there's like underlying things, like when an episode comes on of Steven Universe, you see the names of the people that directly worked on the episode. You don't see Cartoon Network chairman on there. You don't see the people behind Cartoon Network who get to make some of the choices for the show. You only get the names of the people who directly worked on that episode. So if you've ever watched a show on Cartoon Network, I'm not going to get into any specific episodes or any specific drama surrounding them, but I will say that when Cartoon Network or Nick or any of these shows says your episode has to have this thing in it, your episode's going to have that in it. You don't get to debate those things. You don't get to put up a fight, really. You're going to get them done. But moving on to whether the show or the show is good, not that the show is good, excuse me, whether the show is right for you, I can only say that it's completely 100% up to you. Of course, I love the show. If you were looking for a recommendation, yes, to cut this, 10 to 15 minute video down, yes. If you're looking for a recommendation, yes, it's insanely good. I love it. I'm not going to say it. I almost spoiled it. I'm not going to say why I love the show. Later on when I do a review of Amphibia, I'll probably do that before the next part of Season 2 comes out. But before I give anything away, yes, the show is good. I'm very confident that if you like Steven Universe, if you like story-driven shows, it is right for you. And I will say, even if you don't like story-driven narratives, even if you don't like cartoons that have that kind of tinge of dark fantasy or a little dark overtones, even if those aren't your thing, Amphibia is still at least worth the try, because it is so much different than what you're expecting. It did a very great job of flipping my expectations initially, because I went into Amphibia not expecting anything. I went in expecting to watch maybe 3 or 4 episodes, get tired of the semi-outdated references for Disney, because when it comes to Disney, I am a little apprehensive. This is the same network that came out with some questionable shows, so when it came to handling a cartoon that I wasn't familiar with, I was kind of on the fence about it. And I loved Star vs. the Forces of Evil. And by the way, if you guys have not seen the Tangled TV series, you're missing out. You are missing out if you haven't seen that. But I expected them to handle Tangled very well, because it's Tangled. They can't afford to mess up that, right? Star vs. the Forces of Evil was great, but there were some episodes that I felt either were kind of out of place, or, the pacing was a little off, and I understand why. Making a TV show series for TV, for Disney, is a very difficult thing to do. Same thing with Cartoon Network. Getting that first season to go well with fans and to go well with the network can be a challenge in and of itself. And so with Amphibia, I was a little apprehensive. I can actually say, without spoiling too much, Anne's design at first, I did not like it. I didn't like that she constantly looked like she was brand new to Amphibia, despite the multiple episodes and multiple weeks taking place there. I didn't like the way that she looked. I didn't like that she was missing a shoe all the time. I didn't like the leaves in her hair. But the more I watched, the more that I understood that her design is at first representative of her being new to Amphibia, and over time it's a It's irony. It is, she looks new to Amphibia. She looks like she has just gotten there. But in spite of that, over the course of however long she's been there, she knows the townsfolk. She feels very comfortable talking to the people in this town, and she's gotten used to Amphibia. And that just makes her design all the more better to me. I love it. I love Anne's design now. I couldn't imagine her looking just normal or dressing like the people of Amphibia now. I love the way she dresses now. Sprig's design is amazing. I feel like if this was just a show about frogs, Sprig's design could definitely be that of a main character. He could definitely run the show on his own if Anne wasn't there. He would be the main character of Amphibia that we'd have. And Polly, she's a pollywog. Like, her design is supposed to be simple and cute anyway, so hers isn't too complicated. And Hop Hop, I don't know if you guys don't know this. You guys, I'd be very surprised if you knew. This is one of the first channels. This is for one of the first videos going up. But I don't like old people characters, and that's not like I'm not shitting on anybody else. I'm not like, taking a crap on any cartoon in specific. But typically, for me, old characters kind of have just a few lines that they are destined to say, and I get really apprehensive to even hear it, because it's just, I know I'm gonna hear it eventually, and I'd just rather not. That I'm not done yet kind of character trope, where yeah, I'm old, but yeah, I ain't done yet, or just old people jokes in general. And I can't remember what show it is, but I feel like I've watched a show and it was nothing but old people jokes. Somebody's whole character trait was just old people jokes, and I did not like it. And not to say like, oh, well, you're getting defensive of old people. Like, I don't care, but like, there's a little bit more to people than just being old. And Hop Hop is exactly that. Hop Hop is old and he's a grandfather, but he is also a character of growth. He is also a character that, whether old or not, has his own flaws and his own strengths. They handle him so well. He is one of my favorite characters. And mind you, I don't typically like old people characters. So if a person that does not like old people characters has a favorite in Hop Hop, trust me when I say that this show is pretty damn good. And without jabbering your ears off for too long, I'll leave it at that. I do think the show is good, but those are some of the things that you could ask yourself when trying to decide, is this show a good use of your time? Are you going to like Amphibia? Give it a few episodes and see. I'm pretty confident that you will. And if you don't, hey, at least you gave it a try. And you can tell me in the comments what you think of Amphibia, whether you're new to it or you're a longtime fan. And I'm excited to see what you guys think about Season 2 so far. Leave some comments, hit the like. The channel is new, so I do appreciate all the love that you guys are willing to show. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.